Hey guys, how you doing? This is Travis P11 and welcome back to the channel. Well guys, it's winter time. I'm in Nebraska and it is freezing outside. And so today I'd like to show you some of my cold weather gear, what works best for me out at the range, as well as getting some stuff done outside around the house, especially when you get down below freezing temperatures. And we're going to try to keep it at a budget level if we can. I'm going to give you a couple options. All right, hang tight. Here we go. Alright, so just a couple things I want to mention before we get started here. The first one is that I'm not being paid or endorsed by any of these companies to review these products. These are brands that I've trusted, some of them for a very long time, and they're products that seem to work really well on a budget, and I get quite a bit of use out of them. So the first one I want to start off with here is just a set of gloves that you can buy at Walmart. These are the Wells Lamont High Dexterity Thinsulate Insulated Synthetic Leather Cold Weather Gloves with touchscreen, first finger, and thumb in black and gray. They run about $13.94-95 at Walmart, and they come in sizes from small through extra large, I believe. I've got kind of a medium-sized hand, nothing excessively large. I believe that I bought the large size and they fit me really well. I've washed them several times. I've used this pair for 2 years now. They do have the reflective piping on the top of the gloves, which is kind of nice if you're out at nighttime and you want some reflection, say you're walking or jogging or whatnot. Now, everything also that you're about to see here, I've tested outside personally for extended periods of time in temperatures as low as 15 degrees below zero without wind chill. Now, once you start to get below freezing, I mean, it's really hard to keep your hands warm without a real heavy duty, say, duck or goose down filled pair of gloves or some neoprene gloves, but these do a really good job, especially if you're outside walking around. And at, you know, $14 a pair, you can afford to kind of beat them up a little bit and get some use out of them. I'm generally able to get 3 to 4 winters of use out of a pair, and I'm wearing these basically daily. The really only Achilles heel to these gloves that you run into is this Velcro strap over time can start to wear out, and eventually will start to fray and tear. But overall, they're a great pair of gloves. Now, I usually wear these at the range when I'm setting up my targets, carrying things from my vehicle to the stand and so on. But these are not my shooting gloves. I actually have a different set of gloves that I use. They do have 60 grams of Thinsulate insulation, which it's okay stuff. I mean, there is better stuff out there. There's more high-tech gloves out there that you can get. But again, like I said, we want to try to keep you warm and keep you warm on a budget, and these gloves do hold up really well. Doesn't matter whether I'm snow blowing or out shoveling or hauling stuff out to the range, they've been a really good pair of gloves. And at 14 bucks a pair, like I said, you really cannot go wrong. And you can buy these at your Walmart anywhere, which makes them really good. And they do hold up well. They do take quite a bit of abuse. You can throw them in the laundry with your jeans or whatever when you need to wash them. No special treatment. And that's the other thing too. I'm trying to show you stuff here that you can just toss in the wash and not have to worry about it. And so here we go, guys. These are the Wells Lamont insulated gloves. And a quick little addition here while I'm thinking about it before I forget. Like I mentioned before, they do have a index finger and thumb material that does work well with your smartphone touchscreens. And so if you need to check your email or check something or make a phone call when you're outside, if you got a large enough screen, these will work really well with you. And I have no trouble using them with my my smartphone. So something else that might become an important feature that people look for, and they put that on a lot of gloves today. Now, when it comes time for me to actually do some shooting, I switch over to probably one of the least expensive pair of gloves on the market that you can get for working outside and working at the range and so on. These are just the Hardy brand, and you get these at Harbor Freight mechanics gloves. They just feature a durable synthetic palm and fingers. I can usually get about 2 full years of use out of these before I wear out a pair of them, and they run for a whopping $5.99. The Velcro straps on these do hold up really well. You can even try them on in the store, you know, before you buy them. No smartphone, I believe, compatibility. If you need to use your phone, I usually have to take them off, but they are thin enough that I'm able to use them at the range, manipulate firearms with no problems. And in most of my shooting videos, if I have gloves on, I'm wearing these. Size-wise, for my hand, these are a large. And again, these are just another pair that you can just toss in the wash if you need to wash them up. They give you some cold protection, probably down to about 40 degrees, but that's going to be about it. They're not really a winter glove, but these are more of my shooting gloves. Love to get a more expensive pair, but these do a great job and they work well, and I think that's probably the most important thing. They're not the fanciest thing out there, but at $6 a pair, I usually have a couple pairs out in my vehicle if I ever need to change a tire. If I ever have to do some work under the hood of my vehicle, I'm going to get dirty. These do actually work really well. So these would be comparable to some of the lower end mechanics brand gloves that you might find at, say, an auto parts store. And so these are what I tend to switch over to when I actually do, you know, firing of the firearms at the range. And I'm able to manipulate small parts, you know, things like the slide stop, safeties, and so on with these gloves on. So these are the Hardy gloves that you can pick up at any Harbor Freight store. You might be able to order them online, I'm not sure, but usually most people tend to have a Harbor Freight within a reasonable driving distance. So there you go, guys, Hardy gloves. All right, up next we've got my Old Faithful stocking cap. I've had this for about 5 years now. This is a Carhartt 100% acrylic, USA made stocking cap. If you're not familiar with materials and so on, acrylic does a really good job of keeping you really warm. I can use this in pretty much any temperature. I start to put this on once it gets down to about 40 degrees outside, and I've wore this, like I said, 10-15 degrees below zero outside. I do tend to put a hood up when it's that cold outside, say when I'm taking the dog for a walk or if I'm working at the range. Again, just a nice stocking cap. These are $9.99. The Carhartt gear that you're going to see, you can typically pick this up online. You can order from Amazon or from Carhartt Direct. You can also find this at a lot of your farm and ranch stores like Tractor Supply Company, Orscheln's, Baumgar's. Rural King, I think, is another chain out there that might carry Carhartt. It's not hard to find it. Heck, some of your Walmarts might even carry it. And for 10 bucks, you're getting a nice tight weave that is does a great job at blocking out wind. Now, when it comes to rain, this is not the best material for it. It's going to absorb water. They do stay damp for quite a while. In fact, if you get this hat soaked, I would recommend you just toss it in the dry on low heat in your dryer. And because I've let these sit out overnight before and they don't air out very well. That's probably the one negative about this hat, is that it's not a dry wick, not really a water repellent material. So that's something you want to watch out for. It does wick away sweat well when you're using it. In fact, sometimes I'll get so warm when I'm working outside I'll even have to take this off. But kind of comparable to wool, but without the itch. And so again, this is just your Carhartt stocking cap. I think they call it the watch cap or something like that. And again, you can find these just about anywhere if you just look around online or at your farm and ranch supply store. So for 10 bucks, get yourself a nice stocking cap that's going to last years. All right, let's move on. All right, so when it gets really cold and nasty outside and I got to go out and do some snow blowing, or I'm going to be going through the woods and it's going to be really cold out there, it's kind of funny. I went to Cabela's and I basically said, what is the least expensive boot that you carry with the most amount of insulation in it that I can get? And the person working at Cabela's showed me these Trekker boots. Now, I've had these for probably about 5 or 6 years. I know this stuff looks brand new, but these have only been used maybe about a dozen times or so. It's not like these get daily use. They are a little bit cumbersome to put on. And you don't have the best flexibility possible, but you do stay warm when you're wearing them. You've got a nice speed lacing system on it. They do have a leather upper, which has been very weather resistant also. I have sprayed these with some silicone spray to keep them even more water repellent on the outside. And again, these have 800 grams of Thinsulate insulation. What you got to understand about insulated boots, guys, and what I tend to notice is that the more you spend on them, the more insulation you're going to get inside of them, which only makes sense. These have got kind of a nice little camo finish to them, and these would make a nice hunting boot for you. I have had water up past the ankles before and they do not leak. They've got an aqua shield, which is basically just sealed all the way around. You've got a gusseted tongue that seals the tongue in place so water doesn't get up over it into your boots when you're wearing them. And the tread pattern does pack really well through the snow and ice. And so I think Trekker makes a really good boot. I don't know, I think they make maybe some military, combat, or police boots. And I've always had really good luck with these. And so, like I said, for $50 to $60, you really can't go wrong, but expect to spend quite a bit of money. I'm going to say go for at least a Thinsulate level of 400 to 500 grains or grams. If you're buying a pair, if you want to keep your feet warm in below freezing temperatures, especially if you've got a lot of snow and ice to go through. But I've always had really good luck with these. And these are the Trekker 813-345s. I really can't tell you specifically what the model is called. They might just be called the Trekker Snow Boot. But if you look on Cabela's website, you still might find these. They've been around for a while, but they're kind of an old standby that they usually have in stock. So do definitely check those out. So those are what I do for my boots on a budget. And like I said, 40 to 50 bucks. You know, you can get cheaper snow boots, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to insulation, you know, you might be able to save maybe 20 bucks and pick something up at Walmart. 800 grains of Thinsulation or grams of Thinsulation does a really good job, especially when you are out there in sub-zero temperatures. Okay guys, so here's the deal. When it comes to men's outerwear, the way I see it, you've got two options. You've got Carhartt brand, and then you have everyone else. Yes, we're filming in my kitchen. I apologize for that. So this is a brand that I've been purchasing for a long time. These are kind of my beater coats that I wear if I need to really work out in the garage and get dirty, work around the house. And there's nothing wrong with the Carhartt jackets, but I try to keep those in a little bit better condition. This is Burn brand or Bernie brand. This would be comparable to, oh, maybe say a Wells Lamont coat or maybe a Dickies brand coat. What we're looking at here is the men's original wash quilt line hooded jacket. Okay, this does have 12 ounces of 100% wash cotton duck, which is basically like a canvas. It's somewhat water resistant. It's somewhat wind resistant down to a point. you know, once you start to get into wind gusts around 20, 25 miles an hour, and this is just my experience outside, it really starts to penetrate through this coat. These coats are nice though because they have a fairly large cut and you can layer underneath to make yourself feel comfortable for any kind of conditions. I tend to over layer and then just lose layers as I warm up and need to stay a little bit cooler or warmer, etc. And overall, it's been a pretty good coat. You've got some pleats in some of your high wear areas, which means that they don't tear out. They have a little bit more space when you need them. Pockets are not bad. They've got large pockets, but they're kind of shallow. So you have to be careful so things don't fall out of there if you're working or moving or jumping around from heavy machinery and so on. You got your drawstring hood also. The ribbing is not bad. The ribbing holds up well. It doesn't stretch out too much. And the great thing about these coats is that you can just throw them in the laundry and wash them. You don't have to have any special treatment for them. I mean, I tend to dry mine on medium or low, and they don't really shrink up a whole lot. They might shrink up maybe a half a size at the most. Now, this is an XLT, and I am 5'11" and I'm 225 pounds on a good day, and this coat happens to fit me really well. It is a little bit more slender cut than the Carhartt jackets as you're about to see, and let me talk about the lining here real quick. We have, let's see, heavyweight insulation quilted to 100% polyester brushed tricot. The sleeves are medium weight insulation quilted to 100% polyester taffeta. So I'll just tell you right now, my experience with this coat, this is what I would consider the budget option. These run anywhere between about $59.99 to $69.99 depending on the size. And these suckers go up as much as a 4XLT. The quilted lining does keep you fairly warm. It is fairly moisture absorbent. You've got a nice large pocket on the inside with the zipper. And so this is what I would consider maybe your alternative to Carhartt on a budget, right? You've also got a couple extra pockets on the inside, which are good too. I do conceal carry on a regular basis, and the nylon does work well to kind of go around my holster that I'm wearing inside the waistband, and usually these don't pull up while you're wearing them. The nylon stays, the ribbing tends to stay in place the way that it needs to. Two kind of cons about this brand, and I kind of wish Bernie would fix this. Well, first of all, you've only got a 1-year warranty, which isn't bad, and I'm sure if you contacted them, if you had some issues, they would probably replace the coat, because I doubt they really get that many returns. One of the cons is that I tend to get the sleeves, they tend to wear out up towards the front. I don't know if it's because they brush against things when I'm walking or whatnot, but this doesn't happen with my Carhartt coats, but this is the second coat that has kind of a high wear area on the inside of the sleeves that I get, and I'm not sure exactly if it's rubbing on the sides of the coat or what the deal is, but it does tend to run through and some of the insulation has a tendency to come out. The other con with this coat is that the zippers do tend to not keep their tension up towards the top, so they do tend to fall down about 3 or 4 inches, which I'm constantly having to pull them up. They're not a YKK brand zipper, which is a brand that's been around for a real long time. I don't even know if Carhartt uses that, but these will generally hold up well for about a year or two. So these are great for outerwear. Heck, you can almost even go hunting in something like this. Get yourself maybe an olive drab one. They make these in like 5 or 6 different colors. They make sizes to fit. And you know, for 50 to 60 bucks, you can't go wrong. Also, another thing too, if you check your thrift shop, say like a Goodwill, sometimes you can score these or Carhartt jackets for $5 or $10. I've got a buddy that's actually purchased 2 Carhartt jackets at Goodwill, and they've been basically in like new condition. And so you can really do well if you look around when you're shopping for these things. Again, there's a little bit of that lining. It does keep you fairly warm. I had dog hair in there, my apologies. And a little trick here that I learned from my stepfather, who's been in construction for 20 years. Whenever he gets one of these coats, the first thing he does is he'll wash it, get it cleaned up, and then after that he'll use a water repellent. He'll spray a couple coats on this out in the garage, let the coat air out over the weekend in the garage, and then after that he's got a water repellent coat that'll usually get him by for almost a year. And this is somebody that's working outside 365 days a year, so in all kinds of different conditions. Now this is just Kiwi heavy-duty water repellent. You can also get yourself some camp dry, but this works really well on these cotton canvas work clothes, whether you got bib overalls or you've got a coat for that matter. This is something that actually works really well. Now, once you wash the coat, you're obviously going to lose that water repellent in it, but I tend to only wash these just a couple times a year because I don't sweat a lot 6 months out of the year because it is freezing outside. So again, the Bernie brand coat, this is a nice alternative to Carhartt, and let's go ahead and move on. Okay guys, then up next what we're looking at here is my Carhartt jacket. This is the duck quilted flannel line Active Jack, and this coat I've had it for 4 years now. I've washed it numerous times. It holds up really well. Now I'm not a construction worker, I'm not a linesman and so on, so it's not getting that true outdoor abuse, but it does get used basically on a daily basis when I'm going to school, when I'm going to the range, etc. It comes in about 6 or 7 different colors, and it comes from any size from a small to a 4XLT, and those extra large talls are nice to consider if you're somebody that's going above, say, 6 foot tall, or you're a little bit tall for your height and your weight. Some of the basic features about this, first of all, it is made in the USA. The Bernie coat is not made in the USA. This was their 125th anniversary in 2014. They put that on their jackets, which is pretty cool. You do have a lifetime warranty on Carhartt jackets and bib overalls. I'm not sure about their other products, but they do hold up really well. We'll show you the inside of that here in just a second. A couple more features about it, and I'll kind of compare and contrast this with the Bernie coat, because there's a few things that this can do that the Bernie coat does not do for me. You've also got the 12-ounce heavyweight sturdy 100% ring spun cotton duck canvas, which again is just like a cotton canvas material. It's nice and resistant to wind, to water, and again I do camp dry this coat, or I do water repellent spray this coat once a year to keep it from, it just beads up the water, and the water basically just comes right off of it. Quilted flannel lining in the body and quilted nylon lining in the sleeves. Attached quilted flannel lined hood with draw cord closure. Okay, you got that also. Rib knit cuffs and waist help keep out the cold. 2 inside pockets for additional storage and 2 lower front pockets. And again, they come in, like I said, various sizes. Now, again, like I've said before, my size, almost 230 pounds, and I actually wear a large. I tried an XL, and that thing was a lot longer than it needed to be, and it was just so bulky. They do give you a very generous cut. I could basically wear a hoodie underneath this and a t-shirt, or a thermal top and a t-shirt, and still have plenty of room left over. It is a baggier cut because a lot of guys tend to wear bib overalls under these things, or they layer up. The sleeves also have more room in them than the Bernie coat does. That's another thing I wanted to mention. The Bernie coat has a more slender cut, a little bit tighter in the sleeves than the Carhartt, so there's more room in the Carhartt if you're somebody that likes to layer up when you go outside. So for $100, I don't know if this is necessarily budget friendly, but it's also not a $300 Patagonia coat or say a $250 North Face jacket. Now, I'm not ripping on those brands. I love those brands, but they're just not really in my budget. The zipper on this tends to be larger and even more heavy duty than the Bernie coat that I just showed you, and the zippers on these do not fall down. Even though the zippers are not guaranteed for life according to the Carhartt warranty, my stepdad actually broke out one of his. I think it maybe just came apart, and this was after years and years of use. He sent it into him, and either they sent him a new coat, or they were actually able to put a brand new zipper in and fix the coat up and send it back to him. So Carhartt does stand behind their warranty, and to me that does make a lot of difference when it comes to buying clothes and other kinds of items for outside. So this has been a really good coat. Like I said, I've had it for almost 4 years now, if I'm not mistaken. Pockets on this, unlike the Bernie coat, you've got a lot longer of a sew on the right side, which means you've got deeper pockets, which means that things aren't going to flop out of your pocket when you're working outside, say your keys, or I don't know, maybe a wallet or a cell phone, etc. And on the inside here, you have a nice pocket on the right side. Again, I apologize for the lint and the dog here. It just happens. Got the Velcro closure up on the top. Got that nice quilted lining going on. Now, the nylon lining can be kind of cold, okay? Well, that's why I tend to wear long sleeves in the wintertime, but your body warms up to it when you first put it on. You've got a nice zipper pocket on the inside to keep stuff secure. So that is pretty much what I do for coats in the wintertime. But anyway, guys, that is pretty much it. That's what I wanted to show you. Oh, no, wait a minute. We do have one more item. Okay, hold on. I'll be right back. Yes, how could I forget about the bib overalls? I gotta apologize, guys. This is only the second clothing review I think I've ever done on this channel, so I'm kind of a noob at it. But these are actually, I bought these for my wife this winter, and I got them in case she ever needed to help me outside on anything. You tend to want to buy these a size larger, or 2 sizes larger than you normally wear, because you're gonna be wearing pants underneath. You're gonna have your hoodie on, your sweaters, and so on. Now, these were $49.99 for a size large short, and I think they're just unisex, if I'm not mistaken. They might make a women's line, but we actually got a pretty good deal on these when we bought them. You got a couple buttons on the sides that help you get them on. You've got fully adjustable straps up on the top. Now, these are quilted insulated bib overalls, and I noticed over on the Rural King website they do actually feature these, so maybe you can get Bernie brand at Rural King if you're somebody that likes to shop there. This is Job Site 12. It's just another line of clothing that Bernie happens to produce. Bib overalls are awesome. In case you've never considered them before, they're a nice alternative to expensive snow pants. I think mine were $59.99 if I'm not mistaken. You've got your buttons and clasps on the bottom. You've got zippers that go all the way up to your knee, making them easy to put over your other clothes and your boots before you go outside. I can basically be outside in 5 to 10 degrees below zero and be perfectly comfortable with this on, and my insulated coat, my hat, and my gloves. I can pretty much go all day. Heck, these are just nice to keep in your vehicle if you're going to be traveling through, say, sub-zero temperatures, and they do hold up really, really well. I've worn the heck out of mine this winter, and they've been great. So again, consider a nice pair of bib overalls. 50 bucks, not bad. Heck, you might even be able to score something at Walmart, maybe a little bit cheaper when you're looking around. These have got brass rivets on all the stress points. They've got triple stitching on the seams. You've got nice pockets in the front, pockets on the back, pretty much pockets everywhere, up on the front also. And this is one of my best pieces of cold weather gear, especially once we get down to say 15 or 20 degrees. If I'm going to be filming outside or doing any shooting outside, or heck, even if you're going to be hunting, you know, consider a good pair of bib overalls. Now you might want camo, but it kind of depends on what you're hunting for. But again, if we're trying to do this on a budget, just try to show you some alternatives. So those of you that have any brands of this clothing that maybe you recommend that might be a little bit cheaper, or something that's worked out really well for you, go ahead and chime in and let me know. This also has insulation in it, fleece insulation and nylon insulation, similar to the inside of the Carhartt jacket of all things, even though this is not Carhartt brand. Now you can get Carhartt bib overalls, but they're about 2 to 3 times more expensive. I think they run maybe about $100, if not 150 or more. But again, the fact that I'm only wearing these, you know, so many times per winter, I didn't need to go all out and go super rugged, nor did I need to spend that kind of money on the wife for her set of bib overalls either. So again, something to definitely consider. You can also do the camp dry or the silicone spray on this stuff also to make it more water repellent. But man, these things do dry out fast too when you hang them up, which is really nice in the wintertime. So when it gets really cold outside, and I'm gonna be outside, I do bundle up like an Eskimo, but I gotta tell you, I am nice and warm, and that's the most important thing that matters. So there we go. So okay guys, so that pretty much wraps it up. I wanna thank you for watching today. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. Again, I'm just trying to show you cold weather gear on a budget, what you can do to get good, reliable, sturdy clothing that's gonna last you quite a while, but not break the bank at the same time. If you like what you see, guys, please like or subscribe, and you can check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can also find me on gunchannels.com with my Saturday morning podcast called The Caliber Corner. And then also, guys, I'm going to go ahead and put some links below in the video for the website where I found all these different items, or where you can go to find these items if you're interested in purchasing them. I don't have any kind of an affiliate discount to offer you, but I might just be able to save you a little bit of time in the process. So there you go, guys. All right, guys, so thanks for watching today. Again, I want you to have fun. I want you to be safe. We got a lot more reviews coming to you. And as you know, we will talk to you soon. All right, take care. Bye-bye.